All right, what's up? This week, our question is: were babies really burnt in ovens on October 7th? Um, I have to admit, I am reluctant to really dive into this whole thing, like in a public forum like this, but I really want to just be honest and authentic with this series and these updates I do and these videos. And it's just the truth that I'm watching and listening to so much stuff about this conflict and all these things that happened. And so I'm just gonna share. That's really what I was diving into this week. So it's what it is. And I got some other things here, but anyways, if you're new, my name's Danny Suede. This is Wonderneath Weekly. It's where I share what I'm wondering about every week, among other life updates and things. Since I'm retired from social media, so I'm iterating as I go. So feel free to comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know your opinion. Let me know what you like or don't like, whatever. But we'll just get into it with this first one. So obviously with this issue, I'll be honest, I've flip-flopped back and forth multiple times. So like when the conflict started, or I guess not started, but on October 7th, I was really pretty pro-Israel, team Israel type of view. Over time, as things progressed and we started to kind of see what was happening in Gaza more and more, and you see all the horrible pictures and videos and you hear all the stuff, I started to go, okay, um, yeah, maybe not good, And so I kind of flipped, and recently I've been like thinking that I've been side-eyeing Israel and being like, what are you really doing here? And now I'm starting to kind of flip back, and I'll get into those reasons. But for like I said, I watched Netanyahu on trigonometry. I've watched a couple interviews of him. I've watched just a bunch of content on this, and one thing that kept coming up was October 7th and what actually happened on October 7th, right? And I've heard so many, like I've seen on a podcast a dude who was there after, right? Who was going through the bodies and going through everything. And he claims that one dude that was there with him told him that he saw babies in ovens, or a baby in an oven. And there's other accounts of like a bunch of babies being beheaded and all these horrible things you hear. And then I've heard on multiple podcasts people being like, that's not true. It's been debunked. It's not real. That didn't happen. It's BS, da da da. And it just, I've heard it go back and forth enough times of people saying it's true. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Ugh. And it's like that with everything. But I just decided, I did a deep research on ChatGPT, and I did a deep research on Perplexity, both kind of just saying, hey, I've heard these stories. Is there anything to back this up? Is this true? What really happened? What actually went on? Etc. And so, and I will, and sometimes I'll get different reports back from the different platforms, but this was consistent. And I'm not saying it didn't happen, but ChatGPT and Perplexity both said that there was one eyewitness account of that, but there was no credible evidence or anything found, right? Or like any evidence of it, right? It was one person who made that report. The thing about all the babies being beheaded and stuff, I think same thing. Just someone said that, and like there was no evidence of it. Um, but as I was diving into it, I found that I kind of came to the conclusion that whether or not babies were burned in ovens or not is really neither here nor there, because um, the things that did actually happen were, I mean, just basically just as awful. I mean, it's not, I mean, a baby in an oven is pretty gnarly, but it's like the accounts of sexual violence are like insane. And just, I won't say it on here, but I mean, you can look into it if you want. And tons of murder, burning, people did get burned alive. People were murdered in front of their families. Um, it's really sick, honestly, just to learn about it. And because the thing I said in the ChatGPT query is, I was like, didn't Hamas and them like GoPro everything? Like apparently they just filmed everything, right? And that's true. And so you would have seen that baby's on that too, right? But there wasn't. But there's obviously horrible stuff. And the crazy thing is, I think most people know this, but apparently, um, the IDF put together a compilation. It's like a 45-minute or 50-minute doc, just compiling the videos from Hamas and the other militant groups and stuff. And it's like just uncensored. So it's called like Witness October 7th or something like that. And you can just see him killing everyone on there. And so, and I think the only thing they left out is some of the more graphic, like sexual violence, that they weren't going to put in there, which I think was the right move, honestly. But it's so rough. And part of me, this will lead me into my next point, but part of me wants to watch it. No, I don't want to watch it. Part of me feels like I should watch it. Um, but I know if I do, it's never gonna get out of my head probably for the rest of my life. Part of me wants to have a real view of humanity and the world, um, and just face like what things are like, and have that be integrated into my worldview rather than being like sheltered. But also the way my brain is, I just think I would spend a massive amount of time with those images and videos, like playing like the things I have seen like that in the past, like they have like front row real estate in my brain still. So I don't think I will. But I imagine if people do, your regular person who's like a keyboard warrior for Palestine or whatever, I think they might have a different opinion of the whole thing. Because one thing too that I was researching that's true, according to Perplexity, is that there were Palestinian citizens that participated in October 7th and just went over the border and killed people and were part of it, right? Some just went over and looted stuff and whatever. It's not like all the civilians went over and were killing people, but some did. And that's been documented as well. So it's like, yeah, I imagine seeing those videos and images of that stuff and it's the same thing that's happening when people see the dead kids in Gaza, right? It's like, you're like, people have to pay for that. Like, that's not cool. And one of the main things that kind of switched my mind to being less critical of Israel, I'm not saying they're not doing anything wrong. I'm not saying what they're doing is okay. I'm not saying it's good or anything. But what switched my mind is this interview of this war historian guy on trigonometry, which if you want to watch it, it's in my update in the description. All this stuff is listed on there. You can look at my ChatGPT search or my Perplexity deep research if you want to read the report. It's all in the description. But this guy, he's a war historian, and he's been an active duty military member. So he's served. He's done insane amounts of research in history, and I think he teaches war history. So he knows all about these different wars and battles and how things go. And it's this thing that I think pretty much no one understands. And what he points out is that if given the details of the situation in Gaza and the specifics that make it unique, Israel's actually doing a good job compared to other countries in the past, right? And what other countries have done and other things. And I think the main sticking point for me is that this is how war goes, and this is how it's always gone. This is how pretty much every single country has behaved in these situations in the past. It's just now there's freaking TikTok in the media and is insane, right? It's just like the way the media, the news media is, the way our culture is, the way TikTok is, the way the sensationalized news and all this, and everything's on your phone and you're seeing everything on your phone. That is new. And so everyone's seeing what's happening in the conflict and going, this is the most horrible thing ever. How could this be happening, and freaking out? Which maybe they should be. I'm not saying they should be, because it is horrible. But the thing is, like, you look at any of these other conflicts, like, dude, you look at the US and Vietnam, they murdered civilians for fun. Like, the American soldiers went into, especially My Lai massacre is like the main one, but they did it in other places and other times, and just were killing kids and killing families. They just fill up the ditches with civilians and just mow them all down, kill them all. And some of the stuff even that I've heard soldiers, admit to, if you watch Vietnam Vietnam Winter Soldier hearings or whatever, you can hear these soldiers tell what they did and what they saw, and it's just as horrible, if not worse, than what's going on in Gaza. It's just insane. And the thing is, you just didn't have TikTok. They're just, even when those soldiers came back and talked about that, it's just, I don't even think it was on the news because it's so graphic and crazy, the shit they were saying. But that is how it went. And that's how it kind of always goes. I don't know in Afghanistan and Iraq and these wars that America was in, how much, like, I think there was a much less needless civilian killing, but tons of civilians died. And dude, we think about that. America bombed, nuked Japan. You know how many freaking people they killed when they nuked Japan? It's like insane. Like the civilian casualties in wars and battles and things. And it's just now we're seeing it. And so like I said, I'm not saying that makes it okay. I'm not saying it makes it good. I'm not saying we shouldn't do anything about it. But I think the hysteria and people thinking Israel is like this unique evil, and uniquely perpetrating these crimes in a way no one else ever has or no one else ever does, when I think it's pretty much par for the course. We're just seeing it. I think it's got everyone a little bit deranged about Israel and the situation in general, is what I would say. Um, I'm not trying to tell you what to think. I'm telling you just what I think. I'm curious about this. I'm watching all these things, trying to make sense of it. It's insanely frustrating. All this different information. This happened. No, it didn't. Yes, it did. This is what they're doing. This is the history. Blah, blah, blah. It's just like insanely convoluted and crazy. But, like I said, I've spent tons of time just watching things about it and getting both sides and trying to figure it out. And that's where I'm at with it currently. And it just feels like I just kind of want to share it because it feels like I don't know. It feels like I've had enough different perspectives and things that I can kind of knit it together in maybe an interesting way. But a lot of those resources, the podcast with that war historian and like war expert, military expert, it's all in my post in the description. It's free to sign up, and you can look at all this stuff. But that's just the first thing. We'll keep going here with the rest of my update. I have all these other sections in here, but the other thing I'm wondering about is, was there a recent, on a lighter note, we'll lighten it up here. I know that was heavy. I'm sorry. Was there a recent earthquake in Jakarta? Which there freaking was, dude, on the 20th. I got here on the 15th. On the 20th, there was another earthquake. I was just in the earthquake in Bangkok, and I have PTSD from that shit. And now I get here, and I'm up in this condo. It's the first time I've stayed up in a condo. I'm way up, and I've been freaking out. And sure enough, there was another freaking earthquake. It was like a 4.9, and I didn't feel it. It was later at night, and I think I was probably busy, like locked in or doing something I didn't notice. But the director for my music video told me, he's like, yeah, dude, there was one the other day. I ran out of the freaking office I was in because I could feel it. And so it was kind of low key. It wasn't anything insane to make the news or anything, I don't think. But still, I'm just like, bro, can I get a freaking break here? Like, come on. Oh my God. Just never stopping. But yeah, that's crazy. And then we'll keep going. My last thing. Who voices Marlin in Finding Nemo? I wondered this because I was listening to this funny song called Finding Emo, and it has like commentary from Finding Nemo in it. But it's this guy, and I almost thought, I didn't know it was this guy. Who is this? Albert Brooks. So yeah, I don't even know if I really heard of him, but I thought it sounds kind of like Jason Bateman, honestly, if I'm being honest. That's who I thought. That's what I was guessing it was. But yeah, so that's what I'm wondering about. And then this week, yeah, I got the earthquake stuff. Okay, this is cool. New from me. Bangkok vlog is out, baby. 50 days in Bangkok. If you want to see the earthquake situation, there's a whole section here on the earthquake and everything. So that's cool. We got my first float tank experience. We went to the aquarium. My Sheets Live video, behind the scenes, all that stuff is in there. It's a banger. It's a kind of a long one, but it's a good one. I'm getting the hang of it. And then there's also a photo journal, little 2-minute ripper if you're short on time and you just want to see the photo journal slideshow of the trip. There you go. What I'm watching. Okay, so we'll talk on this a little bit here. Yeah, this is well, I'm reading the Bible right now, right? And I will admit, as I was getting through the Old Testament and starting out, I did notice that like the mentions and the way that the Bible speaks about other gods, speaks about it like there are really other gods, like there are real other gods in the biblical world. And this podcast on Alex O'Connor is all about that, and it's insanely interesting because you find out that when you go back to the Dead Sea Scrolls and like the original manuscripts, a lot of the language and context does imply that there are other gods or proposed other gods. There's like a divine council, right? And God says, it's crazy. There's parts when God says, let us make man in our image, right? And things like that, right? Where he's talking about an us. And then there's a lot of weird stuff where like the gods get dominion over different nations, right? And Yahweh is the God of Israel, right? And he says he's the best God, but when he says have no other gods before me and I am the only God, right? There's reason to believe when you look at the original context and the language and the culture at the time and everything, that it's like saying to your girlfriend or your wife, like, you're the only one, baby. Like, it's not like there are no other people. It's just you're mine. I'm the buck stops with me for you. So there's a lot of evidence for that, and it's really interesting. And then, when one of the angels, I forget one of the angels who he has to bring a message to someone. I freaking wish I could remember who, and he says, "Sorry, I'm late. I was fighting with the Prince of Persia. I got to give you this message, and I'm going to go back and keep fighting him." Right, and this is in the Old Testament. It might have been with Jacob or something, but the Prince of Persia, right? Because that's the god that was put over Persia, right? And it's like these different gods, and that was the worldview apparently. And it's just really interesting if you have an open mind and you watch it, and you find that over time the words and the language in the Bible has been twisted and changed, and there's like input, because there's all the different versions of the Bible, whether it's like NIV or whatever, blah blah blah, and like King James and these things, and like they were taking liberties when they changed the language, and it's translated to this, but you could say this, it kind of means this, blah blah blah, and they're picking and choosing. It's really interesting, but there's a lot of references in the Old Testament to the divine council and other powers in heaven, 2 powers in heaven, blah blah blah, and the Most High as opposed to different gods, and like it's just really interesting. I don't know if you're religious or whatever and you're open-minded, I would check it out. It's interesting. Alex O'Connor's a gangster. And then this is a Alain de Botton video, School of Life, about love, and it's only about 2 minutes, but it really rocked my shit, and it's interesting, so I wanted to share it. Here is the War Expert. War Expert debunks Gaza lies, John Spencer, on trigonometry, if you're interested in that. Moving on, what I'm reading. Proverbs. I'm in Proverbs of the Old Testament now, and these are the ones I highlighted that as I go, if I think something's like kind of nice, I highlight it. So we got, it's God's privilege to conceal things and the king's privilege to discover them. I was like, oh, that's cool. And there's more hope for fools than for people who think they are wise. So that one will get you. I felt attacked. I don't think I'm wise, but I want to be wise. I try to be wise. Work brings profit, but mere talk leads to poverty. Talk is cheap, baby. They've been saying it since Solomon. Solomon been saying it. Interesting, but yeah, just going through that. A lot of it's like insanely repetitive. I'm just like kind of like, dude, we get it. We get it. That fools rush to death. Like, okay. It's like, how many ways can you say be wise and don't be an idiot and don't be a sinner? It's like, if you're not a sinner, it's good. If you're a sinner, it's bad. And it just says that a trillion different ways, but I guess that's important. Here's the Finding Emo song, what I'm listening to. My brother sent me it to, my little brother sent it to me. It's pretty funny. Music's getting crazy. Okay, photo dump time. Here we go. Smoggy. I think I'll go here for these. Me. Boop, ba-doop, boop, 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 boop. We got a do not disturb going, so I'm not getting interrupted here. Okay, here we go. Bump, bump, bump. We got, oh, weird, made it small. Sorry about that. This is what I had at the cafe. That's just as small as it was. Here we go. So what I had at the cafe, Nutella and cheese breakfast toast. So I don't know about that, but it was good. So I liked it. It's a yes for me. Here's a smoggy sunrise from my room. Very smoggy here, but luckily I have a Ripper air purifier. Double steak lunch. I got 2. I was like, combo 4. And she's like, combo? I was like, yeah, both. I'm hungry. And she's like, oh, Anyway, so I killed that. Ate that entire thing, no problem. This is my room, just a vibe. This is my mom and dad at the lake. Julene and Stu, what's up? Miss you guys. This is a funny meme, dude. Look at this. The girl says, how did you get the clouds background? She's like, that's the sky. We're outside. Dude, it's so funny what's happening to our civilization. Oh my God. This is my grandpa Lonnie and my Aunt Luann. Freaking legends, dude. Love them. I love that whole side of the family, but Aunt Luann is the freaking goat, dude. She has a special place in my heart because here's the thing about her. She was a teacher. Very smart woman. Very just good woman. Just can't say enough good things about her. But she was the first adult where she made me some food one time when I was little out at the farm in Montana. And I don't know what it was, but I didn't like it. It was like some soup. But I know, it's like I have to be respectful and eat it. But she could tell I didn't like it, right? So she's like, you don't like that. And I was like, yeah. But anyway, she's like, I'll make you something else. So she took it. She made me something else. And I felt really bad. She could tell I felt bad. And she got me and sat me in the chair with her. And she literally explained to me, this makes me emotional thinking about it. She explained to me how when you're young, you have way more taste buds. And so tastes and everything are way more crazy. And that's why kids are more picky. As you get old, you lose your taste buds and they change and they become more chilled out. And that's why you acquire new flavors that you like and things you like as you get older. So I didn't have to feel bad about it. She explained me the freaking biology and the science. And so I wouldn't feel bad and help me understand it, which if you know me, this is like the whole Wonderneath thing. Like I just have this deep desire to understand the world and understand things. I'm so curious. And like for her to like explain that to me, because every adult in my life would just be like, you need to eat it or like, blah, or like whatever. And like the fact that she explained reality to me and like didn't judge me and just freaking told me, I swear to God, it just was, I think it was life changing. Like I just freaking appreciated that to the max. Like it's crazy. So love her for that. She's the best. Okay, keep going. Some clouds. Oh wait, sorry. Clouds. That is not what I want to show you. That's the desk cam. Sorry about that. Oh, check out this. Cigarettes here in Indonesia. They put like graphic, like this one's mild, but they have like crazy teeth and like tumors and stuff that they make them print those pictures on the cigarettes. And here's my banner because there was a helicopter going by. But on the cigarettes, which I'll talk about for a little bit. Oh, actually, I'm going to talk about that in the subscriber section in the paywall. But so that's my photo dump. Okay, and then yeah, so that's it for this. If you want the rest of my video in my update, you can click the link into the description to sign up for my blog. You can sign up for free, but if you sign up for the paid, you get extra goodies, which is the continuation of this video where I'm going to talk about smoking cigarettes. It's where I talk about more personal things. So I'm talking about smoking cigarettes. I got some new song demos I'm going to share. You get sneak peeks and stuff. And then I'm going to share some of the 3D sets that I've been building out for my Sheets music video that's coming up. I've got a bunch of cool demos and stuff. So I'm going to share that if you're a paid subscriber. And so, yeah, if you want that stuff, then you can click the link and subscribe, either free or paid, whatever you want. And I do these updates each week. And you know what I'm wondering about and everything since I'm retired from social media. So that's what it is. Like and subscribe. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you next week.